Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little Manchester United roundup and update for you with the latest news, especially in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what's going on at United at the moment over the international break. Guys, how are we all doing today? Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get into all the latest goings on at the club in this video. Do us a favour at the start of the show, smash the thumbs up button on it, give it a cheeky little like. Also, if you're on catch up and watching it back later, get down in the comment section down below and have your say about any of the topics that we're discussing in this video. But thank you everyone for joining us. Let me just see who we've got in here. Johnny Gallagher, how you doing there? Berber, Verinda, G-Wolf, Icy Red People, Pineapple Orange, Aidan McDonald, and everybody else as well. Thank you very much for joining us and getting in here. So hope you're all doing well today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, Busy the Beast is in here too. A couple of absolute legends joining us. Great to see you. So let's get into it then, guys. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still the manager of Manchester United as of right now. I'm almost slightly surprised about this. You know, like yesterday he was sent off on holiday. They basically packed him off to Norway. Well, not really. He's obviously got a hand in the current situation as well. But players been given a few days off effectively, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going back to Norway. It wouldn't surprise me if they tweeted it out. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been dismissed as Manchester United manager at Ole Gunnar, or just give him a cheeky little Dear John text message. So I was kind of expecting some sort of shithousery like that from the Glazers and the board, to be honest. But it hasn't come. It seems like they're sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for now. Maybe he will be sacked in the coming days. I mean, it wouldn't surprise anybody if there was an announcement that was made. I suppose that's still a possibility. But if we have a look, I mean, Fabrizio Romano tweeted out earlier on today and gave us just a little bit of an update in regards to the situation, and just said that 3 days after Derby defeat, there are still no contacts between Manchester United board and other managers, no talks. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still supported by the main part of the board members. Joel Glazer only one who can change the situation, but there's still no signal. So it does seem like the United board are quite happy with this level of fucking mediocrity right now, in all honesty. Listen, I know maybe there's not the perfect candidate available right now, but do we have the perfect candidate in charge of the club at this moment in time as well? I mean, probably not, based on how we're playing this season and how things have gone on and how he sort of progressed us since now we have got a good squad. So it's not looking good, is it? But 3 days after the Derby defeat, still no contacts between the United board and any other managers, supposedly. So there's a few managers in the line. Obviously, Rangnick, or however you pronounce his name again, is in line for the job. Ten Hag, of course, is another possibility. There's a few managers that have been touted and talked about, but it's understood right now, at the very least, that Manchester United have not made contact with anybody. There was rumours at the time that we'd made some sort of contact with Conte's representatives, but again, just rumours, and that was before, obviously, he's gone to Spurs. I don't think the board were too keen on him anyway, but it seems like they're just sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now, lads and lasses, in all fairness. So there we have it. I mean, we don't know if that's 100% going to be the case in 48 hours or 24 hours or 72 hours. I guess it's highly possible that he could be sacked off and they do put somebody else in charge, perhaps in an interim capacity. So, you know, that is a possibility, but it seems like they're going to give him the Watford game, potentially the Villarreal game, the Chelsea game, to maybe turn this around. What do you guys think about that, lads and lasses? I guess you're not really too happy, most of you, because a lot of you are Ollie out and want to see the change made. I'll just ask you this. So if Ollie was to go right now, which one manager would you like to see come in and step in and take over at the wheel over this international break? Have your say in the live chat right here. Carrie's in here. She says, Ollie, what the hell? I mean, I don't really understand how he's still got his job, in all honesty. If you look at objectively from other clubs' goings on and sackings that have been happening across the league, Ollie is realistically teetering on the brink of being sacked. And I thought that after that City performance, I mean, I've been supporting Ollie all season long, to be fair, just hoping, more hope than belief, of course, that we could turn it around and that Solskjaer can get this team performing like Manchester United. I've been hoping he could do that, but even I reached the realisation at some point that, you know, we can't accept this shit show, and he's probably not capable of doing it, sadly. He's taken us to a good point, but if we actually want to go on and win things and have those trophies, then perhaps we do need to look for somebody else to guide us in that direction. But the board don't seem to share that opinion, even after getting drubbed up by Manchester City in a very embarrassing defeat at home. And also that Liverpool game, the 5-0 there, and some of the other gash fixtures we've had. It's just been not to an acceptable level. Technically, if you look at the situation as is going in over the international break, I guess it's not exactly panic stations, but it's almost. I mean, we're 9 points off of first. which could have been worse. We're in 6th place, which could have been worse. I suppose if you look at it just from the face of it, it's not absolutely terrible. We're top of the Champions League group, but it's also not good enough. And he's had plenty of time and plenty of money and plenty of personnel and players coming in order to do it. So, I'm at the end of my tether with it. I mean, I still think that, if there's no good candidate available that they can give the job to, I would rather them stick with Solskjaer for a while until somebody better is available rather than just rush it and give it to somebody who's the best of a bad bunch at the moment. I want somebody like Zinedine Zidane, somebody who's that big name who's got the some experience at least of doing it at a big club and winning big trophies, the sort of trophies that we want to be winning, and managing some of the players that we've got in our side as well, the likes of Varane and Ronaldo, etc. So, that's who I want, but he doesn't seem to be available or interested. So you're picking around people like Rangnick, and then you've got also Ten Hag and Brendan Rodgers. I mean, fucking Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Todgers, you've got to be taking the mick with that one. But apparently he's one of the favourites to take over the job. So, I can actually understand why they're not doing it right now. They're just still hoping that Solskjaer can win the next few games, which is a big hope. If not, and the situation becomes to the point where they sort of have to sack him because United are in mid-table, just doing awful, and we've got maybe no Champions League, security, even let's say we don't get a win against Villarreal, then maybe they will sack him off. Then surely they would have to sack him off at that point in the season if that happens. So just a matter of time, I think. It's a matter of time, not really. It's sort of when, not if, in my humble opinion. I think they will sack him. Maybe it'll be as late as Christmas time. Maybe it'll be as late as the end of the season. But I still think they'll definitely be parting ways with Solskjaer at some point. Unless, of course, he does something miraculous and wins the next few games and then goes on a run and wins the bloody Champions League or something ridiculous, Gungshi says, Brendan Todgers, no thanks. Hey there, Gungshi. Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to have that guy in with his pedigree? Yeah, he's got some experience. Of course, he's got a lot of experience and a bit of a style about him. And, that whole, Brendan Rodgers, I'm a nice guy, wonderful technician kind of vibe about him. But he's really not proven to win any of the big stuff, if you ask me. He's not convincing of me that he could come into United and win the Premier League. Absolutely not. I don't have that thought at all that he could do that. Monish says if Ollie's not sacked yet, it's not Ollie out, it is Glazers out. Well, Monish, there is a protest at Old Trafford on the 13th of November. Fucking hashtag Glazers out. Absolutely. I mean, this is it. They've accepted mediocrity for many years now, and we don't accept it as fans. People call us arrogant. We're not arrogant. We're just better. And we just accept a high level of performance from the lads, from the team, from the squad. Why? Because it's, if not one of the most best supported clubs in all of the globe. I think it is the most best supported club. It certainly was a few years ago. I mean, nowadays with how we've dipped off maybe and some of the other clubs doing well, who knows? But certainly, Manchester United is the elite when it comes to football clubs. So we should be expecting to be at the top tier and at the top table with all the very best teams in the world. And sadly, we're not right now. Now, we might have great players. We might have Cristiano Ronaldo, the best player in the world. But as a team, it's not working. As as an overall package, it's not good enough. So definitely something has to give. Something's got to change. And if you look at some of the common denominators in this side, it's the coaching and the manager, really. I mean, we've had players that have underperformed previous seasons. Some of them have gone. We've brought new players in. We've got great players now. We do have a few melters in the side, but they don't have to be selected. But the common denominator in all of this, it is Solskjaer and the coaching staff, really, that they have sort of struggled to get this side playing the good football. And right now, we're feeling that. We're feeling it because now is the time when it should be flourishing into like a really amazing team. And it's actually gone the other direction. We've fallen off a fucking cliff. Hey, Football Brownie, mate. He says, go for the Atalanta manager, pig. They play some good attacking football. You talk about that Gasperini guy. Hey, fair play to your Football Brownie, lad. Yeah, okay. I mean, they do. I like your style. I like your pick there, Football Brownie. But I mean, yeah. I mean, we beat them 3-2 the other day at home after being 2-0 down, so they did a bit of a crumble job in that second half. I'm not saying that's any basis to make it on, but aren't they like 6th in Serie A? They have scored the most goals in Serie A, but they also concede a lot of goals in Serie A. I mean, I don't know if that's the vibe. I do think Atalanta are a good team, though. You look at their campaign last season, they had a very good time of it. They play nice, attractive attacking football. You're right, Brownie, but I don't know, it's not the right fit 100% for me in my eyes anyway for us right now. But he is a good candidate, I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's a bunch of... Who is out there? Let's be honest. Luis Enrique, Brendan Rodgers, Ten Hag, Rangnick, Gasperini, fucking Blanc. You know, there is a few good managers out there, Laurent Blanc. There's a few good managers that United could go and choose from, but you know, take your pick. Really, I'm almost in that situation. Really, it's like they're not showing any ambition here with sticking with Oli, because I've got a very bad feeling about the few games after the international break. It's all well and good if he comes out and we smash him up, fair enough. But chances are, based on the form, I mean, we've lost 6 out of 12 Manchester United of our last 12 games. I mean, that's absolutely shit, whichever way you look at it. And, you know, based on the format and how the performances are going, how we're playing, I've got no real belief that the team will go out there and do any bits against those teams in those games. So there's a good chance we'll bottle those as well. Hazabi says, Coman. Hey, Ted Zavala, how you been, mate? Good to see you, pal. Tom Beeman's in here again. Great to see you, Primot. Guys, thank you for joining us. Hey, do us a favour, by the way. We've got a lot of news to get into right here, but do us a big favour on the start of this stream and smash the thumbs up button, lads and lasses. Let's get this puppy to 100 likes. Also, give it a share on social media if you want to. That always helps us out. So, yes, United Fernando says, even if he wins a few, Oli does not have the consistency. He will draw or lose eventually. I'm sort of feeling that as well, unfortunately, because I think if you had all the time in the world, if you had all this time that he's had and all the money that he's had and all the players that he's got, you should be on an upward trajectory. You should be on an upward trajectory pretty much all the time, really. Yeah, you can have a couple of games here and there where you're not going to perform. That happens to the best teams. You've got to get back. You've got to continue on that upward trajectory. Sadly, what's happened is I think the last couple of seasons he's been in, we have been on that upward trajectory, and you can't say anything other than that, because whether it's a tiny bit of progress, it's still been progress getting to a Europa semi, then a Europa final, finishing third, then finishing second. There's been progress. But unfortunately, rather than, you know, there been a bit of a blip and us continuing up that graph, we've just completely fallen off at the end, and you know, that is totally unacceptable for a club like United with the personnel we've got, to be 9 points behind first place right now, with still the league leaders who are looking really good under Tuchel to play just after international break. I mean, that's a season wrecker, that game. It's also a season saver if you win it, but it's a season wrecker if you draw it or lose it, in my opinion, because that's like, well, you're pretty much out of the race already almost. If you've 12 points behind Chelsea, I mean, things can turn around quickly, but based on form and how things are going, I've just got no faith in the current coaches and current manager, in all honesty. As much as I love Solskjaer, I think he has done a brilliant job last couple of seasons. Got no faith that we're going to best Chelsea. Why? How would we? Look at the other performances against big teams this season. City game was shocking, man. We got trounced. Should have been 5 or 6-0. And the Liverpool game was 5-0 when we got trounced. So, you know, when we come up against the big sides, we haven't, I know Tuchel and Chelsea, they're going to go about it in a bit of a different way, but even when we come up against any of the quality teams, we just looked poor, to be fair. And I saw a table of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer since he's been in here against the top teams, and I think he's like 4th or 5th in the table out of the top 6 sides, basically, of, you know, of when the head-to-heads of the top teams. So, I mean, it's not convincing against the best sides. He did do well against City the last couple of seasons, but how's about now, and how's about how we're looking now? Dominic Dawson says, Pig, I respect Ollie as a club legend, but this job is too much for him. I sort of feel the same, Dominic, mate. I love the guy. Trust me, I love the guy. There's nothing more than I want for Solskjaer to be a success at Manchester United, and for him to be the Norwegian Fergie. There's nothing that I want more than that. But it's just getting to the point where it's not that realistic. And as much of a nice guy as he is, and as much of a legend he is, you've got to be objective and say, what's best for the club? Are we going to be up there at the top tier, tussling with Kloppy's Liverpool and Pep City and all these big sides for the big trophies? You look at how we're playing right now, and the answer is quite clear, really. It's not anywhere near that level. Yet we do have great players. So what is the problem? And even if we didn't have great players, even if we didn't have Ronaldo and Varane, it's like we still got a good set of players. And as a team, we should be performing better as a team. And the roles of the players should be more succinct and clear in the team. And we should be able to like understand the style and how we're trying to go about it, and have an approach and have an actual style. You know, like I say, the likes of City and Liverpool, these sorts of sides, they've got identities, and we don't seem to have an identity. So that's the big concern for me. It's not even about results for me. I'm not bothered about the 6th place. You know, on another season, it doesn't really, yeah, you're off the pace a little bit, but things can turn around. I'm not really bothered about the Champions League situation. What I'm bothered about is just simply the performances. The performances have been not good enough, and that's where the concern is, because even in the games we've got some results in, we've looked crap, and there's only been a couple of performances that have been decent this season really, and it's been usually against really attacking open teams such as Leeds or Atalanta, or, really attacking open teams. We struggle to create and break down pretty much anybody who doesn't play directly into our hands, which is just, it's just a beggar's belief when you've got all the bevy of talents in the squad that we've got. So there is a fundamental problem with how we're playing our football and the performances we've got, and it probably won't change unless there is a significant change either in approach and coaching tactics and mentality and all that kind of thing with the guys in charge, or there's actually a big change in personnel. Yeah, what a damn mess. Glazers out, says Primot. The special one says, we don't have great players, just Ronaldo and Varane, says the special one, and Bruno, says the special one. I mean, I could go on a list and say that we do have some really great players. I know what you're saying, truly world-class players. I would say Bruno definitely is, Ronaldo definitely is, De Gea, I would say, is truly world-class as well. And as you said, Raphael Varane. Everybody else, I mean, Luke Shaw was world-class last season, but overall, could you say he is... I guess he is world class for a left back, but this season right now he's doing shit. Last season he was Roberto Carlos. Wan-Bissaka defensively is brilliant, but there's definitely holes in his game going forward, etc. You couldn't really consider him world class in every department. Pogba's world class on his day. I wouldn't say Pogba's world class. No fucking way. No fucking way. By the way, thank you for everyone who's joining. Do get your thoughts in and out the live chat, by the way. Everybody's welcome out there saying here. We'll try and answer as many as possible. Bell691 says, Ollie is a lovely guy, and we want him to be the one for next 20 years, but we all know on 5 years he'll be doing same crap. Yeah, he's a stubborn dude. That's it. We've looked at what he's done. There doesn't seem to be much change or progression, apart from, when he changed to the free at the back system recently, but he had to do it, really. He's kind of adapting out of necessity to try and grind out wins to save his job, rather than changing things because that's the right thing to do, or changing things because he wants to do it. He's sort of just doing it because he feels like that's what's going to save him in that particular game. It's like, we don't have a style, we don't have a consistent way of playing, we don't have a go-to tactic against every team, and you can't. You want to have different tactics for certain games, but most of the time you should have a style, you should have a consistent way of playing, and we don't see that, unfortunately. So you would think, when we're coming up against the lesser teams and we're a home side, we should have a certain way of playing. We should be like that Liverpool 4-3-3 where they are attacking the shit out of you high up and all the rest of it. You know what you're getting with them when they're coming up against a lesser team. You know what you're getting. You know what you get with them against almost anybody, by the way. But Man United, on the other hand, you don't. So it is a shame that he's not been able to sort of adapt better this season. It's a shame that maybe we didn't get what we needed in the summer, because, sometimes players can save the manager's blushes. And unfortunately, he has got not a great midfield to choose from. He does choose perhaps the worst combination of players that he could, though. So I've got no sympathy for him anymore, really, in that regard, because he doesn't have to choose McTominay and Fred, who are probably the two worst. He could play Matic and Donny, or Pogba and Matic, or whoever, that he doesn't have to choose McTominay and Fred, or he could be playing a youth player in there. So it's really up down to him. But I do feel like, maybe if he got somebody in the summer in the midfield, we could be looking a bit better if that player was a Colossus. But because of that, because he's asking too much of the system for the likes of Fred and McTominay, they're underperforming as well, and he's actually making them look worse than they almost actually are in some ways. Look, Solskjaer's done amazing up until last season, and then it's fallen off. Anybody who says otherwise, you don't really have a leg to stand on, because just look at how we're playing against the other top teams. We're nowhere near them. But I still love Ollie, though. I still love Ollie, and I still wish it had worked out for the guy, and I still hope that in my heart of hearts, somehow, if they do stick with him, which it seems like they might, somehow he can go on an incredible run and turn into a really great coach for us. But it's just, there isn't that much to base it on. We haven't got a trophy at United while he's been here. He hasn't got a trophy in his career that's worth talking about, apart from the Norwegian Championship. And there's no real, inclination that he is going to win Manchester United trophy. So that's my big problem with sticking with him, because you're almost sticking with and accepting a level that is not quite at United. But yeah, the Glazers are shithousers, and yeah, some of the players are absolute disgrace and they need to be dropped and sold and just gotten rid of. That's absolutely true. But even with those players, even with the Glazers, they still giving the players to us largely, and the coach should be getting the better out of them. Zidane says Arvin Lajani. Now, that's my pick as well, Arvin, I agree, but it doesn't seem to be interested. He's too busy squashing grapes with his bare feet in a monastery somewhere, that guy. He can't be looking asked. Maguire's a joke and he keeps picking him. Let's all blame the players. He's incapable of coaching a top side. Bell691, there you go. You sort of just further backed up what I was just saying, really. Yeah, Maguire is a shambles and a shithouse of a man. Honestly, did you see his interview after that game where he said he lacked the belief and everything? I know I keep saying that, but that's an absolute disgrace for your captain to say and just throw your teammates and your boss under the bus like that. I think Slabby Maguire is a disgrace of a human being, and he's just such a morose melter, a boring individual, not a passionate captain. That's what I would say about him. No disrespect, but he's just a complete snooze fest as Manchester United captain. He doesn't really provide you what you need. You need somebody who's getting the troops rallied up and giving them that belief and showing them that belief and leading by example, not just quivering up and melting like he does. I'm disgusted by Captain Slabby this season, but as you just said, Bell, who's the man that chooses him ultimately? Solskjaer selects the guy based on what? Based on price tag, based on wages, based on reputation, I guess, because he's not selecting him based on form. So you're absolutely right. Who does it come down to? It comes down to Solskjaer as well. There's other combinations he could have made at the back. He didn't have to loan out to Anzibi. We could have been playing Menge this season also. You could have been, playing a combination of Varane and Bailly, or he's got other options. He doesn't have to choose Slab, and certainly he doesn't have to stick with Captain Harry Maguire as his captain when he's not a good captain, when he's not a great leader. And I would hope that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, especially after that game where Harry Maguire has come out in the interview and said that the team lacked belief, I would hope that he fucking rips that captain's armband right off of him, gives him a fucking swimming armband, and sends him out to fucking do laps in the pool. And gives the captain's armband to Cristiano Ronaldo, a true GOAT, a true legend of the game who actually deserves it. Not some fucking breeze block who's only played for Sheffield United and Hull City and Leicester City before coming to United. How's about we actually have a little bit of quality as our captain? Let's look at Brian Robson, Roy Keane, look in some of the legends, Cantona, whoever, loads of people have won this armband have been legends of this football club. Not Harry Maguire. And he doesn't deserve to have a captain's armband for United based on what he's done in his career previously anyway. I mean, maybe he could be the captain of fucking Hull City right now. That sounds about right. But Man United, no. He's not the leader. He's not the proven winner. And he's also just shit. That's what's very frustrating about him. Like, fundamentally, he is shit. So yeah, if we had a better defender in there, maybe Solskjaer wouldn't be so in such a bad position right now. But he's choosing these guys, as I keep saying. So what can you say? He's choosing him. If I was manager of United, I wouldn't choose him based on how he's been playing. So why does Solskjaer? And like Roy Keane said, I'd grab Solskjaer and I'd say, why are you playing Fred? Why are you playing Fred? It's beggars belief. It doesn't make any sense. So let's be honest now. He's getting it all wrong. Right, Ritesh Gurung, he comments, Ollie needs to be sacked, remove the armband from Lord Maguire, remove Shaw and Maguire. Shaw could definitely be with doing dropped as well. Thank you for your comment, bud. Yeah, talk about a drop-off, talk about falling off a cliff like we were about United. How's about Luke bloody unsure this season? Last season was incredible, but this season he's truly fallen off. And I don't know what it is. It's pathetic, isn't it? Worst run club in the world. Even Norwich has run better than this clown, says Arctic Clown. Hey, don't be dissing Delia Smith, Arctic Clown. Let's be having you. Where are you? Anyway, no, fair enough. It is a terrible run club, this one. Let's be real. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst. I mean, Newcastle, I think, was slightly worse run before under Mike Ashley, but they don't have that problem now. They've got like super rich, mega rich owners now who are probably just going to plunge loads of money, and they just appointed Eddie Howe. Good appointment, if you ask me. They don't have that problem. Arsenal is still a shit run club, to be fair. But Man United really are a pretty bad run club, let's be honest. Our owners are not in it for being true football people. They don't care about that. It's just a business to them and a way to make money. But we know that, and that's just how it is for a lot of football clubs these days. It's just it. Hey, Janice Varaklas, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. Thank you, Shady94, for subscribing, by the way. Hello there, Friday Meta as well. Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you don't know what this channel is. It's a Man United fan channel. We cover Manchester United in its entirety, from transfers to match reactions, watch-alongs, and all the rest of it. And we've been doing this for 8 years. So do us a favour, smash the like, smash the subscribe if you're new around here. Also, gives us a boost up on the YouTube algorithm and helps us compete with some of the clickbait charlatans on YouTube and some of the corporations, etc. So do show your support by hitting the thumbs up. It's free to do. And get involved in the comment section as well. Let's hear what you think about all the stuff we're talking about. And subscribe if you're new, absolutely. Hey, Vincent Bullock, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. We've got 68 likes. Nice one. Hit the thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this to 100 bad boys. Mount says, hey, Pig, do you feel the season is a write-off in your opinion? I mean, no, not yet. Very close to being, though. It's so close to being a write-off. Like I say, if we don't get a win against Chelsea, Watford, and Villarreal when we get back, then yes, it will be a write-off then. I honestly do think that. You've got to beat Watford. You've got to hope that Chelsea and some of the teams above us don't win, which they probably will, but you've got to hope that they don't. And then we've got Chelsea coming up, right? That's a huge game. They're 9 points ahead of us right now. That's a shocker, man, to have to go and play that game after the international break. Like, you must win that one. That's a very difficult game at the best of times because they are top of the league. They're statistically the best team this season so far. So it's a very difficult game right now for United's, with the confidence and the belief we got around the team at the moment. It's not looking good. It's not too convincing. And I definitely think that we will struggle in those games. I'm just being real. I still hope that we smash them up. I hope there's a level of change that takes place in terms of approach and tactics and all these sorts of stuff. If Solskjaer is to stay, which it seems like he is. Who knows? I mean, who knows? It's almost a write-off, yeah. I mean, what we don't want is to just become another chase for top four season. Just essentially be a shitty Arsenal type team. We don't want it to just be, oh, we're trying to clutch top four. That would be pathetic. We should be trying to challenge for the Poxy title and actually the Champions League and the major competitions, not just going for top four again. So we're very close to this season being a write-off. 12 points behind Chelsea at this stage is almost too much with a third of the season gone at that stage. Hey, we've got a couple of updates here. Thank you very much, Matti Rushmano, for giving us some informazione here. So, yes, so there are some talks at this moment that Ed Woodward is considering Ralph Rangnick as a potential replacement for Solskjaer, which we've talked about, quite at length yesterday. But, he would be a decent appointment because of his experience in the game and his sort of style of football and what he represents and how he's performed previously at clubs like RB Leipzig, not just in a coaching capacity, but also in a sort of sporting director capacity. He's somebody that is a football man that could actually maybe do stuff beyond being just a coach of this football club as well. So he's definitely somebody that makes a lot of sense. He's not got that huge name. He's not got that huge reputation of managing, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Barca and Inter and all these big clubs. He's managed a bunch of clubs, none of which are absolutely massive. But in terms of stylistically, in terms of as a project, that is not a bad shout. It's also not ideal either because, as I said, some of the drawbacks that there is. So that is a concern. Let me just have a look at some of the other information I've got in then, guys. We've got a bit of news to get into. So I wanted to talk about this. So just if you're joining us, Fabrizio Romano's basically said that Man United have made no contact with any other managers over replacing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Old Trafford. So it seems like they perhaps are sticking with him, or maybe there's a sacking in the air in the next few days and they'll do it then. But I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought they would have rather do it right at the start of the international break. So gut feeling on this is they're staying with him and giving him a couple more games after the international break. But I want to talk about this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Rio Ferdinand calls for Manchester United boss to hand the baton over. So BBC reporting here, speaking on his Vibe with 5 YouTube show, Rio Ferdinand said it might be time for the Norwegian to leave the Old Trafford club, adding he would leave with his head held high. From where he came in to where he got us at the beginning of the season, I think it's positive, said Ferdinand. But he did go on to say, I look at our team every week and wonder what we are going to do tactically. I don't see any philosophy or identity in the United way of playing, whatever that should be from the management. I sit here confused looking at the team. When you look at it like that, with the summer transfer window we were all sitting here excited thinking this is what we're meant to be. I go back to the point, Ollie was brought in with the remit to get us back to a moment where you think that he's brought some foundation back. At the beginning of this season, we were thinking, yes, that's it. But he said, I was always deep down a bit skeptical. Could he take us to be champions? I wasn't sure. I wasn't fully convinced, but hoped he would be able to do that. But the showing with the squad he accumulated to the beginning of the season and what I've seen this season, I just feel that maybe it might be the time now for the baton to be handed over to someone else who can take us on. So the reason I'm talking about this is because obviously Rio Ferdinand has been a big supporter of Ollie and giving him time, because obviously he's played with the guy, and not only that, just like me really, but even he has sort of got to the point, in a respectful way of course, where he's got to the point where it's almost just like, Solskjaer is a good manager and he's done good things at United, but have we just got to that ceiling for him? Is it time for him to pass the baton over? And I think that it probably is now, and it probably has proven it this season, with the players we've had come in, that might be the time to go. So, in the words of the great late Claude, let's get some love hearts and rips in there for Claude. It's time to go! You know what I mean? In my humble opinion. But there you go. I think they're sticking with him at least for a few games, guys. It's a shocker. Right, let's have a little vote in the live chat. Smash a 1 in the live chat if you would like to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked in this international break and replaced with somebody else. Smash a 2 in the live chat if you want to stick with Ole and give him a couple of games after the international break, just to see what happens. Let me know in the live chat what you're feeling and what you're vibing with. Thank you very much. Ezio says 1, Starlord says 1, Talk MUFC says 1, Bell says 1, Adfling Skill says 2, Arvin Najani says 2, King Rob Stark 1, Olsen 1. Okay, mostly ones here. It does seem that the majority of you guys are not too keen on seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stay after the international break. I'm not going to lie. A few people, though, Primwat thinks stick with him for a little while, give him a couple more games. Johnny Gallagher thinks stick with him and give him a couple of games. Okay, but what is that going to achieve? What is that going to achieve? Well, I guess he could go and win those games and we could turn the whole season around and, he could learn from all of his mistakes. But you have to look at what we've done so far and his inability to change and his stubbornness when he comes to selecting the same players and the personnel in the same sort of systems. Sticking with that rubbish 4-2-3-1 with McTominay and Fred in there most of the season is a joke, etc. Doing stuff like that, it's unjustifiable for me. You can't expect him that he's going to change. I don't think he's going to change. I think he's going to do more of the same, and it's going to lead to more of the same results and performances, sadly. I hope I'm wrong, because I love the guy. But, if there was... The only problem for me is that who are we going to appoint, though, says General? Exactly, that's it. That's it for me. I would say Zinedine Zidane is my perfect choice because of the philosophy, the attacking football, what he's won. But he is, by all accounts, is not too keen on even coming to take the job right now. We don't know that for sure. From what Fabrizio Romano has said, nobody's even been approached or talked to by Manchester United at this moment in time about taking over from Ollie. So we don't know that. But out of all the choices, I think he's the man, because I think United need a big character. We need somebody who's like a big... has a big reputation, who's got a bit of an ego, who commands respect, who's won big trophies as well. 3 Champions Leagues in a row is not to be sniffed at. There is an argument and a question mark that he's not proven in the Prem or anywhere else for that matter. So could he do it for United right now and get this struggling team before? It's a big question mark. But I still think if you look at who's available as of now, Zidane with his reputation and what he's done and his name, and also not just his name, but his CV. His CV in a short spell of management is uber impressive. In a short spell, that's all you've really got to go on. I think he's the one. Well said. Thank you, Adfilling Skills. Rush Mano, thank you so much. He says, subscribe to the channel. Yes, dudes, hit the subscribe if it's your first time here. Hit the like. We're only 7 likes away from 100 likes, so hit the thumbs up. I'm still a little bit under the weather, guys. Sorry if I got a bit of a croaky throat. Hopefully you can hear me okay today. G Wolf United says, Roy Keane to end of the season. Get Roy Keane into end of the season. He got the job on a technicality of a legend who recommended you. You are nothing. You are a fool. And you are a waste of time. Good night. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about it, G-Wolf. I don't really want an ex-United man in here now. Because I look at the candidates and none of them have that much experience. Yeah, Giggsy was doing okay, to be fair, until he decided to you-know-what. And then you've also got Roy Keane, he's had a couple of spells, Ipswich and Sunderland, but not exactly been the most awe-inspiring spells. And then you've also got Gary Neville, shut the bed at Valencia. That's his only managerial experience. Who else is there? I mean, Steve Bruce, Mark Hughes, lots of experience, but no real experience at top clubs winning things. I mean, Mark Hughes set a record at City, the most draws in a row, 10 in a row. So I just don't think that, he would be the right man to go forward. I don't think Steve Bruce. I don't think there's any ex-United player right now that makes sense for Manchester United to appoint as the manager. You know, Solskjaer at the time, he obviously had some experience in coaching and stuff. That did kind of make sense. And he came in as an interim capacity. That's all he came in as. But because he got the team playing well and performing, they decided to give him the job. But in terms of experience, there just isn't really anybody out there that, that stands out. I missed a super chat. Thank you very much. We've got a super chat here from Amy Fawcett. Thank you very much, Amy, for getting in here. It says, hi, dude. I want to say a Steve Austin, hell yeah. Everybody, give me a hell yeah in the live chat for Amy Fawcett. Thank you for the super chat. Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so. Thank you, Amy Fawcett. I appreciate you. Get in there. Get me a hell yeah in the live chat for Amy, everyone. Right, okay, I've got a few other things to get into here, lads and lasses. Got some informazione. So, Romano provided a little update on Ralf Rangnick. Basically, Manchester United struggled, of course, over the last few games, and we're talking about some of the possibilities of other players coming in. But Christian Falk, if you've got a few other reporters giving their say on it, Christian Falk, he said he's the head of German football outlet Bild. He said Ralf Rangnick's potential appointment. He tweeted, Ralf Rangnick is still interested at Manchester United, so we know that the guy is interested. But Fabrizio Romano has now provided a bit of an update over the current head of sports development at Lokomotiv Moscow. He said, I heard he talks with the board long back, but the board changed his mind and he wasn't an easy person for them to work with. I'm not sure if United will come back for him. So we talked about this yesterday, and just so you know, that is this, when you're talking about links with other managers, maybe that's a big reason just simply why we haven't gone for anybody else. United are looking for a true yes man and somebody who, is just going to basically pander to their needs and essentially be a bit of a puppet for them. In all honesty, they don't want somebody who's going to come in and just fundamentally change all the operations, all the football operations, even though that's what we need. We need a football man to come in and oversee and change the football operations at the club, whether that's literally things like tactics, but also I'm talking about other things beyond that, like recruitment or, just different, all the different aspects of running a football club. He's had experience in doing it for RB Leipzig, commercially, football-wise, but in terms of focusing on a football position, maybe they just don't want somebody who's actually got, who wants more freedom than they're prepared to give them. I think that's the reality of the situation. This is a bit of a poison chalice job for a lot of people because your hands are tied. The Glazers are shit owners. You're not really going to get what you want all the time. And they expect you to just be a bit of a shill for them, really. That's it. You've got to basically say the right things, do the right things, keep in line, toe the line. Otherwise, you're going to be out. So that's why it might not be the most attractive proposition for some people as well, and also why our owners and board don't want to just go out there and give it to Rangnick or someone like that. I think it's possible that that they're just waiting for the right man, maybe another yes man to come along, maybe Mr. Brendan Rodgers end of the season or something to be a fucking complete big-toothed yes man, and then also, sack off Ollie for a lot less at that time. So it's they don't really care, guys. They don't really care. They're not looking at things going, oh, crisis meeting, we might not win the league. No, they'll have a crisis meeting when we might not get Champions League. Oh shit, we're 9 points off Champions League. Oh, crisis meeting. You know what I mean? That's fucking all they give a shit about, to be fair. The Independent have also claimed though that United are considering giving Ralf Rangnick the job on a interim basis, although he would want a boardroom position subsequently. So this is the reports. This is what's from the Independent. It says the German would be interested in any such role, but the Independent has been told that one issue is that he would also want some kind of football position afterwards. So like we say, going from being a coach to being a board member or sporting director, I should say, like a technical role within the club. Yes, ESPN, Rob Dawson reporting that there's been intriguing developments in regards to this, that he said that sources have told ESPN the club's preference is to keep Solskjaer in position until the end of the season, but there is a growing feeling that the stance would change if United's places in the next Champions League was threatened. So, yeah, we'll have to see what's going on in regards to appointments, but it seems like if Solskjaer is sacked, there's a couple of people that could come in, him being one of them, maybe Ten Hag. But reality is he's staying for a couple of games after international break, and then he'll probably get sacked after we lose to Chelsea. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we win those games if he stays. But that's probably the reality of the situation. Right then. Okay, so we've got some other things to get into. Let's just talk about some things here, real guys. Will you guys quick in the live chat before I get onto the next topic and change direction? But Football Bunny says, Ollie's a yes man. That's why he hasn't been sacked yet, says Football Bunny. I mean, I do think that he is a yes man to a degree. I'm not going to lie and pretend that he's not. I agree. I think he is. He hasn't said anything, to ruffle any feathers, really, to the press ever. He's been quite, keeps his head down and just gets on with it. But then again, you can't, I'm going to be honest, you can't really do that if you're Man United's manager, because you will just end up getting sacked, and you don't want to create that sort of division with the owners and the board, and you're just going to get sacked. In these situations when there is a bit hairy, when they do have to have faith in you, you're just going to get sacked off. Look at what Jose did in his final summer before he got sacked. He was talking about, not getting a centre-back and all this, just saying stuff like, he's disappointed with how it's going and everything within a window, and he got sacked. And, I must admit that I think, to a degree, you have to be a bit of a yes man to be in this job, sadly. And I think that they have to get another yes man in. Hey, Hasreen Moosley, I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. Star-Lord says Eric Ten Bag isn't ready. Eric Ten Bag. Eric Ten Bag, we need a 20 bag, says Star-Lord. Oh, my goodness me. Try and smoke the pain away, are you there, Star-Lord? Fair play. Moreno U Studio says just because he's a former player they don't want to sack him. It's a fair point. I think that's given him a little bit more time than if he wasn't a former player of United. I think that's fair. He is a club legend, but to be honest, it probably affords him just that little bit more time than somebody like a Jose Mourinho, if you ask me. He takes the pressure off the Glazers, absolutely, Bell. And he's a likeable link to the fans as well. I think that's what they love about him so much. When Jose came in, it's like half the fan base hated Jose initially when he first came in, let alone, later on when he started performing poorly. So it's like initially already you had half of the fan base against that decision. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, though, even if you don't think he's the right man for the job, experience-wise, he has obviously got that link with the club having played for us, and he's a very likeable, nice man who everybody from that era would like. Everybody loves Solskjaer. I don't know anybody growing up. I mean, maybe now you hear all these fucking reactionary melts calling him a fucking dickhead and all this stuff. Fair enough. I mean, look, I've said it about people before. I'm not going to, but to me, how could you say that about such a nice guy? I mean, he is a really nice man. I don't really get how anybody could really just say he's a fucking absolute scumbag and all this. There's a lot of hate that's going around at the moment. I get it, you're angry at his job that he's doing. But ultimately, as a human being, he's a stand-up individual, isn't he? As we face, a really nice guy. First and foremost, he's a nice man. But that doesn't keep you a job. It doesn't keep you a job, but I'm just saying, there's a certain level of respect there that everybody's got for Solskjaer because of what he's done to the club, and he does have that link, and he is an icon of the club, and that stands for something. It's got to count for something. Hey, Nathan Best, how you been? Great to see you, mate. How is it going? He says, yes, boys, how are you all keeping? Good, Nathan Best. Great to see you in here, my friend. Neil Duffin's in here too. Hello, lad. He says, Pig, we have a team for 4-3-3. Players being played out of position. McFred not working. Simple. 5 defenders at home. Any wonder the players aren't playing well? Yeah, Neil Duffin, I'm with you, man. Where's the attacking intent from us? Why are we playing that way? We set up like a super defensive, counter-attacking away side at home against City. It was a disgrace to see. So I agree entirely, Neil Duffin. And if you're going to play with that formation, at least the style's got to be a lot better and a lot more attacking. You've got to create chances. We had one shot on target in that game. So I agree. We have got the players to play like a Liverpool type system. You look at how Liverpool play; they're attacking 4-3-3. You got Salah and Mane and Firmino. We got players up there who can do that. We got fucking Rashford and Cavani, Ronaldo. You've also got Sancho and Greenwood and these guys. We got great players who can play with that. The midfield. The midfield at Liverpool on paper is this good, solid midfield, but it ain't nothing special. But in that system, with the roles they've got, it works well. Milner and Henderson and Keita, they all do that job well. Why can't we do that sort of thing? Why can't we play with that sort of system and style and rip teams open and play that sort of attacking football? Well, it is down to the coaching. Of course it is. We've got the players to do it. So I agree with you, really. I do agree with you, really, because, you can't accept this level of mediocre football with these sets of players we got. Fair enough if we've got a shit team, but we don't. Gungshi says people should channel the anger towards the Glazers. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Glazers out. Hashtag Glazers out. I mean, I know there's a protest on November the 13th. I just want to have my say on this. A lot of you may disagree, but the protest has sort of been branded with the phrases hashtag Glazers out and hashtag Ollie out. And I get it. People are pissed off that the Glazers have not sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet because they're just accepting mediocrity. But what I'd really love it to be focused more on is just the fucking hashtag Glazers out. because ultimately it's their decision. What's Ollie supposed to do? People are calling for Ollie to resign and walk. It's silly, man. He's not going to do that after 11 games in when he's 9 points off in 6th place, top of the Champions League group. He's not going to walk away then. Fair enough if it's got to a position where he's having an absolute mare and he's 14th with a third of the season gone. Then fair enough. Maybe then he should walk away. But right now, I wouldn't walk away if I was him. I would be trying to get this team back to where it should be, certainly trying to give it my all before it was too late. That's what I would be doing. And also for the fact that he loves the club and he wants to be the manager of this club that he loves. I think that's fair. He played for the club, he's got an affinity with the club. I said this yesterday, but it's true. It's like we love the football club, don't we? As fans, we love the club, we've grown up watching it, it's our club. But I don't know sort of what affinity Solskjaer has for the club. This guy's played for the club, won Champions Leagues, won titles, won Premier Leagues. He's had that love of playing for the club. He was loved by the fan base. He adores this football club. He doesn't have to be in this job. He does it because I think it's a passion project for him. Not because he's getting paid a shit ton of money, which he is. It's because it's a passion project for him. So regardless of whether Ollie fails or succeeds, it looks like he's failing, but regardless of whether that happens, he's still the same man who loves Manchester United. That's what we say. Don't hate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's ridiculous to hate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's just tried his best. And if his best isn't good enough, it ain't fucking good enough and fair enough. It's the Glazers and everybody else at this club that we should really be saying, fuck you, and Glazers out and all that sort of stuff, because they are a disgrace when it comes to overseeing things and running this club. And if they're the ones that decided to stick with Solskjaer and not sack him and not try and save the season or whatever, then the responsibility lies with them. And it's their fault. So let's get a little hashtag Glazers out in the live chat and get a little hashtag fucking, whatever, babyface assassin or something. Dan Davies says he loves the club too much to walk away. He seems determined to make it right. Unfortunately, he's not the man, but I never ever protest about Ollie. Good man, Dan Davy. I think he would reach that realisation if, let's say, he lost to Watford and Chelsea. I think he would go, you know what, I'm going to give up the reins to this job. That's if he wasn't sacked and pushed. But at this moment, I mean, come on. He's 9 points off of first place in 6th. On the face of it, it's not exactly over and done with. I'm just saying, it's not over and done with right now. The season is not dead yet. It could be if we don't get results in the next several games, but it's not over and dead yet. So, I'm just saying, if I was in his position with all the vitriol from the fan base and all the protests and all the, the feeling behind it and how the team's playing and the situation, the expectation, the pressure, if I was him, I'd still stick in the job. I would still stick in the job. So I don't think he should walk away right now. If I was him, I wouldn't. I'm just saying, if I was the Glazers, maybe I'd push him and sack him. But if I was him, as a Man United man who loves the club and who's done a good job for the last 2 seasons, remember he finished second last season, got to that Europa final, lost on pens, gash, but, if he'd have won that, we'd have been saying he finished second and won a trophy. But he didn't, obviously. But because of that, he could probably think, you know what, I'm pretty good at this job. So I don't think I would walk away if I was him personally. I think he needs to be sacked. Thank you, Neil Duffin. Love you, bro. Talk MU, how you going? He says, Pig, if we as fans are going to protest, we need to bring the sponsors into it because that will hurt the Glazers. Talk MU, great shout. I mean, do you know what? It just goes to summary. Let me just be honest about it. Just goes to show you what sort of club we are these days under the Glazers, that the fact that TeamViewer is our sponsor. It's like we don't really care about anything really in regards to our sponsor, the ethics of it, or anything, If tobacco sponsorships were still legal in this country, we'd probably be sponsored by fucking Benson and Hedges. That's how I feel about these twats. It's all about the money. TeamViewer, no disrespect, I don't know much about them as a company other than, when I watch all of these scam videos on YouTube where I watch people like take down scammers online and stuff, all these scammers are using fucking TeamViewer to scam people out of money. That's all I know. So, I know it's a way of sharing your screen and literally viewing what your team's doing as a boss in an office. I get all that. But you know what? It's also being used by a bunch of fucking scammers to rob innocent people out of their money. That's our sponsor, by the way. Yeah, nice one. We're sponsored by TeamViewer, mate, a.k.a. Scam City, mate. Good stuff. What a load of bollocks, you know what I mean? Like, let's have a little bit of, the ethics is important to me, but it's not important to the Glazers, man. They're scum. Exactly, Gaming YT, he says the Glazers are scammers. Hey there, man like Ryan, he says, what's the news? Right then, okay, so the news, if you're just joining us, basically, Solskjaer seems to be staying at the club. the Fabrizio Romano gave us an update. It's in the top right there. 3 days after defeat, there's still no contacts between the United board and other managers. No talks. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still supported by the main part of the board members. Joel Glazer's the only one who can change the situation, but there's still no signal. Right, okay, so listen, guys. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United striker, becomes MBE. I wanted to talk about this. It's announced today. Footballer Marcus Rashford has been made an MBE for services to vulnerable children at an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle. Get in there, my son, doing the club proud, mate. Marcus Rashford, lad, getting that member of the British Empire, lad. Gets in there at 24 years of age. Quality. He's been recognised for his drive to ensure no child in need went hungry during the pandemic. What a fucking stand-up guy. That's all I can say about him. Very proud of Marcus Rashford today. Look at this dude getting the MBE, receiving it from Prince William, who's obviously president of England's FA as well. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that anyway. So Marcus Rashford, just wanted to mention it. Let's get some love hearts in there for Marcus. You know, on the other end of the spectrum, you look at people like the Glazers and how much of scumbags they are. You got people like Marcus Rashford who they don't, he doesn't have to be doing that sort of stuff. He could be doing anything with his free time and his Twitter and his profile and his, his brand. He could be doing anything with it, but instead he's choosing to get kids fed, which I think is fucking awesome. So massive love and respect to there, Mr. Marcus Rashford. He's got an MBE, member of the British Empire, and just an absolute fucking stand-up guy. Also, let's talk about this then. Paul Pogba is out, guys. He's injured. So he pulled up in pain, screaming in a training session, I think, with France. The Athletic are reporting that he's at risk of being out until next year after French medics diagnose a thigh injury, which will keep him out for 8 to 10 weeks on the sidelines. Get in there, my son! Sorry, I'm just joking. That is actually, I actually am only joking there. I actually am only joking. But it just means we don't have to play the guy, and I think he's shit for United anyway. But, of course, I'm not wishing injuries upon our players, but I'm just saying that I think it might actually help us in some ways because, he's not really very good for us when he plays, is he? He lets us down. He leaves us, wanting for, like, somebody who's, like, an actual committed, dedicated player. So all I think this means, when I say get in there, my son, I'm not celebrating the fact that he's injured. I'm just celebrating the fact that he's not played... he's not going to play for us for that time, and he'll probably leave. He'll probably be leaving after that. I don't see them signing up to a new contract when he's out for a few months now, injured. Especially with how he's played before this injury for United. I wouldn't pay him 400 grand a week and a new 3-year deal with United right now. No chance. He would be given a free transfer as far as I'm concerned. Paul Pogba is not good enough for the club. I don't think anybody's going to come in and buy him off of us because his contract runs out in the summer anyway. So he can, I think he can agree pre-contract terms with a new club in January. So if United were going to sign him up, it would have to be over the next 2 months. And we're not going to sign up an injured player who's out for a couple of months. So I think this could be bye-bye Paul Pogba. I think this could see him through to the January period where, offers come in from PSG or whoever on a pre-contract deal and he's off in the summer on a free transfer. That's what I think is going to happen. So just so you know, Paul Pogba's out for a couple of months, guys. Keep him far away from Carrington, says Primot. Yanis Vardikos says thigh injury. Poor guy, wish him well. He will be out for 4 months. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wish him well too, but he's still not up to the level for United. And if this is one of the catalysts that maybe sees him out the door, I'm not going to be bothered about it, to be fair. Because like I say, this could actually have some sort of a bearing on how, us signing him up to a new deal. It could also mean nothing, but I just expect us to not sign him up now. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the alternative is we lose a player that we paid £89 million for nothing. But sometimes you just got to cut your losses and say, he's not an £80 million player for us. And he's not worth the 400k a week that we're proposing paying him. So why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just let him go? Cut your losses. Yeah, go and sign for PSG for free in the Mickey Mouse French League. Do it. But for United, I wouldn't. He's just not worth it. I'd rather spend that £400,000 a week on somebody else's wages who's actually a committed, dedicated midfielder for this club. I don't think Paul Pogba was good enough. He's great sometimes. We saw that the first game of the season against Leeds. He got 4 assists in 1 game. The only time that's ever been done in Premier League history. That basically sums you up. That basically sums up Paul Pogba. On his day, he's the best around. He's unplayable. Literally the best midfielder in the world. On his day. On his day. But when does this day come? Once every 11 games. Or once every few games. So as far as I'm concerned, he can go. Let's have a little bit of Pogba in or Pogba out. Gungshi says, wish him well. You literally just cheered because he got injured. You're motivated. I didn't actually wish him well. Somebody else did. I wish him well, Mel. I do wish him well. I hope he recovers. I hope he recovers, man. But you know what? Does he even care? Does he even care? It doesn't look like he cares playing for Manchester United. So does he even care? He just gets to sit up for a couple of months playing PlayStation now, getting his money, gets paid regardless. And then he can go and sign for PSG in Jan. You know, does he care? Don't think so, Gungshi. I'm done with Pogba. Just like I'm done with Slabby Maguire. There's a couple of players at United that I'm done with, and Paul Pogba's one of them. Rightly or wrongly, that's how I feel about it. He's not a good enough player for United. I'd rather spend the money elsewhere. He's shite, basically. Pogba in or Pogba out, guys. What do you reckon? Right then, okay, so also just Eurosport reported that Lingard had hoped to work his way back into Man United, but will now seriously consider an exit. Newcastle could offer competition in terms of signing him, while there may be offers from abroad too. But they would favour a return to East London. So in terms of West Ham, so just a bit of news about Jesse. Obviously, it's coming up to the January period. Jesse's not really featured much for Solskjaer recently. And there's talks of maybe Newcastle with Eddie Howe going in there and the money that they've got coming in for Jesse in the January. And also West Ham may be interested if that happens, just based on what he did for them. And if somebody else is coming in, they might move on it. Also, want to talk about this, right, guys? This is a fucking horrible story, by the way. This is a true horrible story. This is a horrible, horrible story, guys. You ready for this horrible story? Oh, it's a horrible story, guys. Are you ready for this? Oh, no. Hang on, let me just find it. Let me just find it. Wait a second. But it is a horrible story. Okay. Crikey, I can't believe this, by the way. Just so you know, this is not the horrible story I was going to talk about. But I've just seen the odds, the new updated odds for favourite to take over at Manchester United should Solskjaer get sacked. And, you know, the clear favourite, massive favourite right now, 6-4, is Brendan Rodgers. Zinedine Zidane is 6-1 in comparison. So Brendan Rodgers is 6-4. That's how short the odds are that he will be Man United next manager. Fuck that. Tell you what, fucking massive glazers out if they appoint Brendan Rodgers, man. That is not a step in the right direction at all. Anyway, the story I was gonna talk about is this one. Ed Woodward, aka the human potato head, is in talks over a new United role. We thought we were getting fucking shot of this guy at the end of the year. He was supposed to be leaving his role. So this is what is being talked about anyway. Ed Woodward is in talks over taking a new consultancy role at United once he initially leaves the club. The report cites insiders who state it is commonplace when chief execs leave a company to strike an agreement which allows the firm to call upon their knowledge if required. As a result, it's suggested should Woodward take a role, it is likely that it would be on that basis rather than a position that would see him working extensively at the club on an ongoing basis. Now, it's obviously not as going to be as in-depth role, but basically it's a consultancy role, so they're going to be consulting him for things. Ed Woodward, what do you think about this? You know, and stuff like that. That just sounds like a fucking awful plan. Because this man, in my opinion, yeah, from a commercial point of view, you have to say he's overseen a good way of making money, overseen various different ways of making money for the Glazers. But that's all he's really good at being good at for them. From a footballing point of view, I think he's been pretty dire for United. So, I don't want to see him have any role at the club after he's left. The only role I would give him at the club, I would give him a role at the club actually, but it would be financial role only. And I mean like commercial deals, you know, getting new brand sponsors, all that sort of stuff. He's obviously shown a good ability to do that sort of stuff. I'm not going to pretend that's not the case, but for everything else, everything football related, see you later on, son. Not interested in that guy. And for what he's done, he should just be gone anyway. So if they do that, you know, if he's got any say in what happens in the future at all, I'd be very disappointed. I don't want him to be consulted about anything after he's gone. You take David Moyes over Rodgers? I would too, General. 100% I would too. And I don't want David Moyes either, just to be clear. I don't think he's the right fit for United as Exhibit A shows. But, you know, I do think that I just don't want Brendan Rodgers, mate. I absolutely agree with you. He'd be classed as a consultant, says G Wolf United. Yeah, he should be CFO, not DOF or anything. Yes, I agree with you, actually. What does that mean? Financial Control Officer or something, Shamir Qureshi. Is that what you mean? JW says, horrendous news, please. Sorry to hear that about Ed Woodward. Shame he couldn't fuck off. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's no guarantee. There's nothing that's been, you know, cemented in terms of him having a new role at the club. It's just reported that he might be given a consultancy position at the club. Chief Financial Officer. Oh, okay, Shamir Qureshi. Nice one. Yes, man, exactly. Something like that. A financial role at the club. Because like I said, you look at what he's done. The Glazers just want him to oversee Man United being a brand and making huge money for them. And he's done a good job of doing that. Even when we've been struggling, the money's still been coming in with commercial revenue, etc. So you have to say, you know, you can't really say that he's not done well there. I mean, he's plastered the Man United badge over fucking Nissan noodles and, you know, cars and delivery companies, and it's fucking everywhere. Manchester United, the brand, you know, we've got so many different sponsors and links and affiliates. It's almost unbelievable. Watchers and fucking who knows, you know. It's all over the place. So they've definitely done a good job of that. Right, okay. So yes, so the news, if you're just joining us, really, the big news, looks like Solskjaer's staying. Marcus Rashford's got an MBE, and Paul Pogba is out injured for a couple of months, guys. Also, Steven Gerrard remains high on Aston Villa's list of potential targets to replace Dean Smith at this moment in time. So you could see, just it's not United related, but I just thought I'd mention it. Could see Steven Gerrard, Mr. Slippy G, back in the Premier League as a manager soon. Just letting you know. Right, okay, let's get into the live chat. I'm going to do a Q&A now, guys. So there's all the latest Manchester United news. I'm going to get into the comment section for a good 10 or 15 minutes now and have a little chat with you legends about anything you want to discuss. So get your thoughts and opinions in there. Have your say. Do us a big favour, guys. We're nearly at 150 likes. Smash the thumbs up. There's 205 of you watching. Let's see if we can get 205 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. It's free to do and helps us out a lot on YouTube. So smash that like and get the subscribe button hit as well if it's your first time on the channel. Do get yourself involved. We cover all the latest Man United stuff on this channel, so have your say, get yourself involved. Right, let's get in there then, my lads and lasses. Where are you? We should go for Martinez, says Shamir Qureshi. What, Wigan's ex-manager? Nah, he's all right. He's done well, to be fair. He is a good coach. And Everton's ex-manager. Is that you talk about Roberto Martinez and Belgium's manager, of course. Steve Johnson says, I agree, Ollie needs more time. You're a Liverpool fan, mate. Neil Duffin says, better off with Buck Rogers and Tweaky, says Neil Duffin. Only role Woodward has at United is take rubbish out to the bin, says Man Like Ryan. I like that one, Man Like Ryan, yes. A new binman consultancy role should be on the horizon for him. Yeah, you're right there, STP Mitchell. There's talk of Ralph Rangnick open to taking the United job as temp, but would want some club role afterwards. As a sporting director, he'd be perfect. Yes, absolutely. We discussed that earlier as well, STP Mitchell. You're absolutely right. So there is some discussions that he'd be interested in the job in an interim capacity if he can then go into a sort of sporting director or football director role afterwards, which is something that I think United need. You look at the people we've got in charge in those roles, and there's nobody that convincing. Not many football men there, if any. So I would love it if we actually did have somebody who really could do that, who has a track record of what he did at RB Leipzig, taking them from a very, very small brand team to a very big brand team. And I'm sure they invested a lot in it, the Red Bull brand. But even so, like, he did a very good job overseeing all that. You'll never get me down, says, I bet Ollie hits like on all of Pig's vids. Oh, nice one. Shubham Singh says, Ollie needs to be sacked immediately, says Shubham Singh. Fair play to you. Panash Vadnir's in San Antonio, Texas. Nice one, dude. Lovely stuff. Shout out to Texas, my friend. He did bits with Everton and Belgium better than Ollie, for fuck's sake. Yeah, no, he is doing well. He is a good coach. Did he do bits? I mean, what did he win again? Remind me. I mean, see, this is what my concern is. It's like, I just want us to go for somebody who, you know, is clear in a way a real great candidate because of what they've achieved and what they've won, and stylistically as well, it is important. But I do think that now, if we're going to go in a different direction, it has to be somebody, again, more on the Jose Mourinho sort of way of thinking. Not the style, but the reputation and what he's won, you know, and just some inclination that we can win those big trophies is important to me right now. Because last few years, we've stuck with somebody who has no track record of winning trophies. And what have we got? We've got no trophies. Whereas at least with the other guys, both of them, in fact, LVG and Jose, they did win trophies, even if the style wasn't there, and even if it was just a short-term quick fix and there was a big gash, they did ultimately get the results and did get us some trophies. And if you could add somebody who could get the stylistic wants and needs that we've got as fans into the mix as well, and just the ethos of the club, etc., then that would be perfect. Then, you know, we just need somebody with experience. Basically, it's Zinedine Zidane. That's it, it's Zinedine. And he hasn't got the experience of Jose. No, of course not. He's only done it in one club. But he has won the Champions League multiple times, and there is that there. And he's a big character and a big, you know, he's got an ego. He's fucking Zidane. So that's why I would say him. out of anybody. But yeah. Hey, United Forever says, any FIFA tonight, Mr. P? You bet your ass there will be. Genno says, did you see Tyson Fury's video on United players being lazy and not playing for the badge? I did, Genno, yeah. He's going to have to get down there and sort them out. That's what he said, lad. I mean, fair play to Tyson Fury. And he's absolutely right. He said that, it just seemed like, they were lacking that belief. And he said, even when he was down, knocked out on the canvas against Deontay Wilder or whatever, not at one point did he feel like he couldn't win the fight. Even though he's down and out, not at one point in his head did he feel like, oh, I'm done here. I can't win. I can't win. No, let me stay down. No. He said, I can always win, even when he's fucking down on his back and he has to get back up and fight for that possession. In his mind, he's always going to win. That is the mentality that United need to have. That's the mentality we used to have. You look at the Fergie way, we always come back late and pinch those late winners and stuff. Like it was never say die. I remember being 3-0 down against Tottenham at half-time and feeling fucking depressed and then come out, smash them up 5-3 or whatever it was. It's, it's like that was United. That's what we're all about. So, but unfortunately, yeah, he's right. We don't have that belief that we can get back and win games from those positions, sadly. Spot on from Tyson Fury, says Wiggy. Absolutely. Shamir says Zidane ain't coming. He wants the France job. There's literally nobody available. Big. Good point. Yeah, if he does want the France job, fair enough. But it's not exactly guaranteed, my friend. You just never know. I mean, there's not literally nobody available. Not literally nobody. There's nobody ideal available, I think is fair to say, Shamir. But there are still candidates like Ten Hag or, people that you just might have to pay a bit of compensation to their teams to mid-season. Steve-O says, only 2 candidates for me are Simeone or Ancelotti. Wow, okay, Steve-O. Simeone, for me, ticks nearly all the boxes apart from maybe the style, but maybe you could give that up if he's going to get you the results and get us playing like a damn solid team, like his Atletico Madrid team, to be fair. So, he's actually a decent shout, but I just don't think that's very realistic either right now with him just winning La Liga with him over there. Maybe if he wanted to challenge, but I don't know. We tried experienced managers and failed, Pig, says Jonathan. Well, we failed in terms of longevity and project and long-term success, but I don't think you could say that we failed in terms of short-term success with those managers, really. Maybe LVG. I mean, he did win an FA Cup and then got sacked. He had time and he only won an FA Cup. We didn't have Champions League football and he got sacked. Yeah, okay. But Jose came in and he did win 3 trophies in a short spell, even if it's the Community Shield, the League Cup and the Europa. So did Jose, he ultimately did fail in the end, but initially he succeeded. So there wasn't all bad under Jose. Jonathan. So I'm just saying, that's what you need. You need somebody who's a big character, a big ego, who's got a big reputation of actually being a proven winner, who can sort of come in and change things almost instantly. It's not easy, though. It's not easy to find that guy right now. Mikato says, hey, Pig, how you doing? Any plans for a career episode soon? Yes, indeed, later on today, Mikato. Keep a lookout tonight, my friend. That'll be on. Jiwa says, nothing. He beat England in the semis with Belgium at the World Cup, but getting a semi with England is not hard. G-Wolf United, nice one. Gungshi says, I just think about anyone coming in would be a risk at this point. The best managers are all busy. Yeah, that's how I feel, Gungshi. So maybe that's what the board stance is. That's what they're going on. They're going with, let's stick with Ollie. If he sharts the bed and gets to the point where we have to sack him, we'll sack him and get somebody else in. But until that definitely is the case, then we'll stick with him because we're just biding our time, waiting maybe until the end of the season, until somebody else is actually available that they want. So it's a good point, Gungshi. No worries, Shamir. You're all good. You're all good, my friend. That's okay. I thought you were just getting your opinions in there, nice and passionate, lad. That's all good. That's what I want around here. Neil Duffin says, if we can spend 80 million to sit on the bench, we can definitely pay compensation to any manager. No excuses. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, what were they going to pay? 7 mil to Solskjaer, and then they'd have to pay off a club, for Ten Hag or whoever it may be. Yeah, it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. I totally agree with you, Neil. And also, like somebody mentioned yesterday, there might even be a stock rise when Solskjaer goes. Just going to put that out there. So, Vincent Billy says, Pig Eye would get Edward Woodward the job of putting the toilet rolls out at Old Trafford. Good call. That's about the level, yeah. Ralph is the only option now, in my opinion. His footballing brain is phenomenal. When Klopp says he idols him, says it already. Yes, exactly, STB Mitchell. He is supposed to have influenced a lot of those great German managers, dude. Pretty much all of them, STB Mitchell. I think, what is he, 63 or something like that? He's got the experience there. He's managed a lot of teams, but he's also done sporting director sort of roles. He's actually a really good man to get involved with United. above the manager. And so I could see him coming in as an interim manager. If Solskjaer, this is how I think it goes. If Solskjaer shats the bed against Watford, Villarreal and Chelsea and he gets sacked, or at any time, January or at any time, and he gets sacked and he has to be sacked because we're just doing fucking awful, then I think they'll probably just get Ralph in there and as an interim manager until the summer. And even if he sort of sharts it a bit, he'll go into a technical role or a sporting director type role or something like that at the club. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for subscribing, Mohammed Zidane, Isan Jafal. Appreciate you getting in here, man. Shit football pig, says Jonathan Gallagher. Seriously, says Ralph would be a game changer, an intelligent football brain at helm, the move aside to the sporting director. And exactly, and in terms of style, what we sort of want, it's that sort of attacking, German fucking blitzkrieg heavy metal football style that we're looking for, mate. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Shane Zamiassi, mate, how you doing with the popcorn super sticker, man? Get in there, Zamiassi. Thank you very much for joining us and getting involved today here. He's just sitting on, watching on with his bloody popcorn, old Zamiassi here, look. Fair play to you, Zayn. I mean, I guess it is a little bit, from a neutral point of view, it's a little bit of a circus at the moment, this whole Manchester United debacle. It's an absolute circus. I mean, the Glazers are shite owners. They're running this club into the ground. You've got the fans protesting at the stadium on the 13th. You've got a club with players like Ronaldo, Bruno, and all these guys in there performing so poorly. And we don't know whether the manager's going to get sacked, will he or won't he? We don't know who's coming in, who's possibly lined up. We just don't know. Is it all a bit of a circus right now? Can't lie. So I'm not surprised you got your popcorn out there, Zamiassi, lad. But, thanks for the super sticker. Roy Keane for the job, says Timothy Young. Oh, Timothy Young, fair enough. I'd be throwing punches at those players out there if I was on their team. I wouldn't let them on the coach. They're an absolute disgrace. Fair enough, but the experience just isn't there with managing top sides, sadly. What's he done with Ipswich and Sunderland, man? Bell says not a lot of money when we consider how much finishing mid-table is going to cost us, says Bell. Fair point as well, absolutely. Yeah, you do. You are going to lose out by this. G-Wolf says, what the fuck, don't replace the slab. He'll come good. Come on, G-Wolf. Slabby out. Hashtag Slabby out or hashtag Slabby in, guys. Let me know. Roy Keane wants Ollie to stay, says you never get me down. I think he just wants him to... He's his friend and he wants him to do well. And it's not over just yet. As I was saying earlier, you look at where we are. We're 6th in the league. We're 9 points off of first. We're top of the Champions League group. It's not over yet. So, let's take a little step back and say it's not actually over yet. It's not to the point where it's completely unsalvageable. If you win a few games on the bounce, if you beat Chelsea, you're right back up there. Horatio says, I think we need to give Moyes another chance. He's doing wonders at West Ham. Fair play to the Ginger Goblin, David Moyes. Wow, I'm blown away by how well he's doing there. But it's no surprise in a sense because it's the right size club for him. Look at Everton. He did really well at Everton. I see the similar sort of thing going on here with West Ham. He's just not quite a big enough manager for the job of Manchester United. It's a pressure cooker, this job. It's a poison chalice of job. It's a tough job for anybody at any time. But for David Moyes, it was just too big of a job for him. Particularly at that time, directly after Fergie. It was always going to be tough for whoever took the shoes over after Fergie. United looking at a new centre-back, says Rushmano. Good. I bloody hope so, Rushmano. We should be looking at a new centre-back, absolutely. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much, Rushmano. Yes. Oh, yeah, Jules Koundé is on the list, is he? So Rushy sent me a couple of articles here. United are set their sights on signing Jules Koundé in January. United reactivate their interest in the player due to Rafael Varane's injury and other issues and can accelerate Koundé's goodbye from Sevilla. That would be great, to be honest. I would like to see that. I think we need a new centre-back in. I think it's highlighted. I'd like to see a midfielder come in first and foremost, though, I must say. Because I think we have got a few defenders to choose from and a combination there could be had that's good without Maguire in. But, fair enough. I mean, yeah, to be fair, I'm not even going to... I personally don't really think there's much possibility or even point really talking about that right now because I do think that... Are they going to sign... Who's going to be the manager in then? Are they going to sign a player with Solskjaer at the wheel if they're not confident he's the man to do the job? Or are they just signing a player not for Solskjaer but for the next man? It's all a bit... or do they sack Solskjaer and then get the new man to spend in Jan? That I could see happening. If Solskjaer is sacked and they sack him before Jan and a new man comes in, then I could see maybe us picking up a Jules Koundé or something like that. But I just don't think they're going to put any more money into him right now. I think they'll probably put more money into a new manager, but I don't think they'll put more money into Ollie. Man like Ryan says, Piggy, If Rodgers takes over when Ollie goes, he'd bring Madison, and when Pogba goes, not interested, mate. I don't want Brendan Rodgers. He's a shit manager, man, like Brian. Okay, he's not a shit manager. He's a good manager. He is a good manager, but again, he's not a great manager. He's not right for United. He's an ex-Liverpool scummer. That's him off the list already. Sonic Quantum says, dude, the problem is more the fact that this is never sustainable. We definitely are in the mud considering how unreliable this manager's plans are long term. A few wins won't paper over the cracks. That's sort of how I feel now, Sonic Quantum, as well. Unless there's a massive change of approach and everything. Yeah, he's sort of proven to get this current United side this season not playing very well at all. And sadly, he's making the same errors by selecting the same players and style and formation, all this sort of stuff most of the time. So it is a worry. What's the tier listing of those journalists, Pig, so I can actually have some belief in it, says STB Mitchell. What are we talking about now? Who's that now? Simon Carey says long-term benefits, long-term success, an environment that everyone loves, players, happy stability, and a youth academy for the future. Short-term, no stability, no academy, short-term success to no success. It's a great point, Simon Carey, yeah. Everybody wants too much too soon, but that's football, man. You've got to get the results, don't you? Timothy Young wants Gary Neville in. I mean, Timothy, it's not a good idea, mate. He's only got one experience of managing, and it was at Valencia, and it was literally the shittest managerial career ever. That's all you really got to say about Gary Neville. There's no basis that he would do a good job. He's a pundit, fair play to him. He's a great player back in the day, and he obviously knows his football, and I agree with a lot of what he says. But it's one thing, it's like me sat here giving you my thoughts and opinions. Would I go and do a better job than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, realistically? Would I command more respect from the players than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with what he's done? Or, would I have more tactical abilities than him after he's been playing in the game and working with coaches and tacticians and all the rest of it for years and committed his life to it? The answer to that is clearly no. I honestly just don't think so. But still, though, we're allowed to say you're having a fucking mare by selecting Slabby Maguire and Fred and McTominay and all the rest of it. But realistically, it's a fucking tough job for anyone. But definitely not Gary Neville. Controversial option. Greg Coleman developed Wales and got them to the semis of the Euros. You what, Chris? Connor Matthews says, afternoon, Pig. Did you see Pogba apparently injured himself in France training? I think he's going to go to PSG, mate. That's my humble opinion now. The Vutinator, I hope you're doing well today, boss. Name one player that is genuinely happy and enjoying his football. Sashimi Koreshi, genuinely happy and enjoying his football at United. One player who's genuinely... The fact that I have to think about it means that, yeah, it's difficult. Good point, Shamir. Who's one player that's enjoying their football and looking genuinely happy right now? Paul Pogba? He's fucking injured, getting 400k a week. He doesn't care. No. I don't know, mate. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. That's a very good question. Nobody looks happy and nobody's performing and enjoying their football. Okay, now, maybe Greenwood? I don't think so, Horatio. Last few games, Greenwood's looked awful and he just hasn't been there. Right, anyway, we're pretty much going to wrap this video up here, guys. Thank you, everyone who's got in here. Do us a massive favour, though. Smash that like button. I've just seen the time. We've been talking for a while. I'll be back on later, giving you the latest information on all the latest vibes and news in regards to Manchester United, if there is anything that breaks, of course. Zayn Miasi's got a cheeky little super chat in here, though. He says, KO. He's given us the knockout blow with the hippopotamus there. Thank you, Zayn Miasi. There you go. And that is KO in the end of the live chat, mate. Thank you very much. Zayn Miasi, what a don. Let's get some super chat emojis in there for Zayn Miasi in the live chat. Thank you very much for the $8.99 super sticker, Zayn. Batman says, Maguire is happy he's out the day we lost. Have a good evening. You too, Wiggy. Thank you so much. Slabby, should he stay or leave? He should go, Sir freaking Rollins. Glazers are happy, Pig. Yeah, they probably are, mate. They're just achieving what they want, which is making money. Literally no one's happy. You want stability. Should have listened to Jose when we wanted to sell Pogba and Pereira. We chose Pogba. Fair point, Shamir. Easy to say with hindsight, though, bud. I mean, Pogba, I still think should go now. I wouldn't choose Pogba, mate. Pogba's rubbish for this club. Jose was right about Pogba. That's what I say about Jose, man. Gungshi, one day soon, hopefully you have some real relief, my friend. Absolutely, Gungshi. I'm hoping for that too. Thank you, Gungshi. I hope you have a great day, man. I hope you feel better soon as well, my man. Let's get some love hearts in there for Gungshi Leone. Simon Cowie, have a great day. Thank you, as always, for getting in here and being a channel member legend. The Vutinator, Gungshi, I've got to rest my voice up, guys. My throat's going. So I'm a little bit under the weather, got a little bit of a sore throat. I just need to conserve it today because it is starting to weaken. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you. You never got me down. Says, thanks, Big Awesome Stream. Take care. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved. Great chat in here. Great debate, as always. Really appreciate you all for getting involved. Do us a massive favor before you go, guys. Smash the like button on it. It's free to do. Only takes a second. Smash that subscribe button as well. It's free to subscribe. Follow us up on social media at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Also check out the website, unitedflyinghigh.com. Thank you very much, Rushmano. Appreciate you, my man. Thanks for all the updates. Wiggy as well. Neil Duffin, absolute legend. Have a great day, my friend. He says, Pig, I don't think Ollie is up to the task, but if he proves me wrong, I'm glad to eat humble pie. Don't want him sacked. Hopefully he shoves it up the media. Yeah, I want him to be a success too. That's all I've ever wanted. Sadly, I agree with you, though. I just think he's probably not the right man to take us to those trophies now, based on how we've started this season and how we look with the squad we've got. But I hope I'm wrong as well, Neil, yeah. Gungshi, Rushy, Vuti, all the moderators, thank you so much. Every member in here, everyone who's just got involved in the chat as well, absolute legends. Have a great day, guys. This is The Pig. I'll catch you later. Thank you very much for watching. Keep a lookout tonight. There'll be some United news. We're doing a career mode episode as well later on, guys. So see you then. Stay classy. Catch you on the next one. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines would be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much. So, hashtag Glazers out.